Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Yes, I know I need to put more videos out. My output has been terrible recently, but I've just been busy with stuff. I'm not going to say what, just personal, private stuff. I don't really need to, don't need to tell you. We're off to a great start already for this video. No, but seriously, I don't want to be one of those YouTubers who just puts out 2 videos a week, like that's anything. No, I'm kidding. I actually feel better within myself when I am productive and when I do bash out a few videos a week. I like that. It's preferable for me. Haven't been doing that recently, so that needs to change, but had a lot going on. So anyway, for today's video, let's keep it nice and casual and chill and do a good old-fashioned Reddit video. Now, my friend sent me a link to the other day to this subreddit called Glitch in the Matrix, and I actually used to read that okay, Jonathan Ross. I actually used to read that subreddit, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years ago, back when I only had about 20,000 subscribers, followers to the Reddit, and now it has about 600,000. So I thought what we could do is just read a few of the top posts of all time. That's the best way to do these types of Reddit videos. So Glitch in the Matrix, it's not like No Sleep or, wait, Let's Not Meet is meant to be factual, No Sleep is meant to be fiction. This is meant to be factual, weird glitches that happen in people's lives that they want to share. Glitches within the Matrix, hence the name. Actually, I had my own Glitch in the Matrix the other day. This is why I never get on with my videos. I'm ready to like fire up and go, and I'm like, nope, right, time to interject with my own personal anecdote. The other day I was at Tesco's, where else? And I put a plastic bag down. Yes, I know, I should have had a reusable bag, but I didn't, okay? And I had too much stuff to carry, so I had to get one of those plastic bags. And I put it on the scale in the bagging section area, and then when I tried to take it, the plastic ring, the plastic handle was... It's so difficult to explain. I might have a picture on my phone of what I mean, but basically it was as though it had phased through the metal bit and it was just in there, and I got freaked out, so I had to get a different bag. Not good for the environment, I know. And I thought that was my own personal glitch in the Matrix. I went back to Tesco's the next day to get more stuff, but also to inspect the underside of these metal bits, and actually... No, what happened was the bag literally just slipped under the tiniest like millimetre of spaces to get caught under this metal thing. There was no glitch. I was just an idiot. For an afternoon, I was really sure that I had caused something to go wrong in the Matrix. So anyway, let's get on with today's video. I didn't exist for an entire afternoon when I was 16. I stumbled across this sub today and I immediately thought of a story my friends and family still talk about. Not much must go on in that town. This happened in 2009 when I was 16 years old. It was the first weekend of summer and nobody was home when I woke up around 11 AM. I grabbed a snack and went down to the basement to watch TV. I had plans to hang out with a friend at 3 PM that day. Like I said before, I started watching TV at around 11, knowing I had 4 hours before I was supposed to head over to my friend's house. I had only been watching TV for about 30 minutes when my mum came down the stairs asking me where I'd been all day. I said, "What are you talking about? I've been awake for less than an hour, ? I look at my watch and see that it's well past 5 in the afternoon. I run upstairs and check my phone to see that I have several missed calls from my friend and my mum. I've had coffee today, I don't know what's up with me. Glitch in the Matrix. I do not look like me today. Why do I look... Anyway... My mum's side of the story is what makes me nauseous when I think about this, even to this day. She was with my little brother at his baseball game from 1 to 3 that day. She and my brother were home when I supposedly woke up and went down to the basement, but neither of them have any memory of even seeing me that morning. When my mum got home at around 3, she checked the entire house for me, including the basement where I'd been sitting on the couch watching TV. It's been 10 years and I still have no idea what happened on that day. It's by far the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me, and although I talk about it with my family like it's a funny little thing that happened, it genuinely chills me to my bones thinking about it. And the top comment, which I agree with, is, "You were abducted, my dude." I mean, further down in the comments they are saying the simplest explanation is he probably fell asleep and his mum just didn't check the basement properly. But no, it was definitely aliens that abducted him, or the Matrix glitched out for a second, temporarily erased him, and then recovered the files quickly. Someone said, "No, but for real, if aliens had the tech to go all through space, why would they abduct people?" Banter? Why wouldn't they? Like, okay, so, here's the thing about aliens. Like, oh god, people piss me off. People just see things from a human What a great video this is. So, right, what grinds my gears about people and their disbelief in aliens is, I do a lot of stuff for banter. Do you not think that an advanced race of aliens would have a sense of humour too? Like, look at crop circles. You can't tell me that's not just some aliens drunk or drug flying and fucking around to mess with us. Wouldn't you? I mean, we do anyway. Like, a lot of people kind of fuck with their, not in that way, but mess around with their pet cats or dogs to confuse them, you know, throwing the ball but actually keeping the ball in your hands. UFOs, crop circles, kind of the equivalent of that. I know for damn sure that if I was an advanced race, I mean I am compared to you lot anyway, but if I were an alien and I had a UFO, I would definitely go to a planet where there are lesser intelligence, make some funny patterns, and so ruin someone's crops. It's just a prank. It's literally just an intergalactic prank, bro. So when people are like, oh, why would they abduct people? Why not? Science and shit. The problem with a lot of people, and this really grinds my gears, is sometimes some people like to act as though having an imagination is against the law. I'm watching my rats groom each other. We as humans, you lot as humans, can only ever see anything from a human perspective. You can't really put yourself in the mind of an alien or in the mind of something not third dimensional. You can't conceptualize like the fourth or fifth or higher dimensions, right? In your brain, you can't do that. We're not designed to. So I just think trying to sometimes apply human logic to extraterrestrial reasoning is flawed inherently. Why am I getting passionate about this? Because it pisses me off. It's a bunch of humans thinking they know stuff when they don't. I just get annoyed when humans act like they know all that. Why would they abduct people? Banter! Who knows? I'm trying to find ones that aren't too long. Here's one. Where is my kid? I have 4 kids. I know I have 4 kids, but recently I just feel like there should be another one, but it's missing. When we go out, I head count and get flustered because I can't find the extra one. I have to consciously remind myself there are only 4, but my heart just doesn't believe it. Well, I just put it down as one of those weird feelings and push it aside. Then, my parents sent money to my kids. They sent $500. I called them and asked why they put so much, and they were confused and said they told me they were sending $100 per kid. I reminded them that I only have 4 kids. They were silent for a moment and then just kind of laughed and said they must be getting old because they were thinking there was 5. Then tonight, my daughter walked into the lounge room. She looked around, said, I know we're all here, but my family feels small. My son agreed. I haven't said anything to anyone about my feelings lately because they already think I'm ancient and forgetful at 40. Thanks for reading if you made it this far. Does anyone else have these feelings? Right, okay. So, maybe you did have 5 children, and then the government stole one, and you know Men in Black, the amnesia device, maybe that happened? I got nothing. That's quite a weird feeling to have. One time, how old was I? Probably about 17. Because I don't think I could legally buy alcohol at the time, so me and my friends would just illegally do drugs instead. Because that's a thing in England. It was harder to get hold of alcohol than it was drugs? Question mark? Any other like English people back me up here? Did you find that was the case when you were a teenager? Could easily get weed or anything weird, right? So I think when I was about 17, me and 2 of my friends, there was this drug called Meow Meow, MCAT. It was a legal high for a bit. I love how these videos just go completely off the rails all the time. It was a legal high, and then it got made illegal because someone mixed it with other drugs and died. I think we were doing that, and it was still pure. Or there, yes, no, it was still pure at the time. My friend probably ordered a bunch of the dark web. And me and 2 friends, we were up all night, we were kind of up all weekend, just on this like bizarre, crazy drug. It's like this mix. It makes you feel like MDMA, but almost with the crackiness of cocaine. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't do drugs. I'll do what you want. So we were kind of blitzed for about 8 hours, and then when we all sort of came to and started to come down, we were all kind of confused because, and we all said, it feels like there were a lot of people with us last night, but it was only us 3, but it just felt like at some point there were way more people around. Anyone verify what I mean when I talk about this? Let's move on to the next. Okay. My dad's gut feeling. I was 17 at the time, and me and my dad had just finished our fishing trip, and it was always midnight, mid-fall. When I was about to get in the car, he told me he did not want to sit with me He did not want me to sit in the front seat on the ride home. We argued about it for 5 minutes and he did not give any good reason to why he did not want me to go. I gave up and got in the back seat. It was pitch black outside. When we had been driving on the main road for about 2 minutes, we saw a car driving in our lane. Right as we were about to collide, my dad swerved into the other lane and so did the car in front of us. I heard my dad say I knew it at the very last second, then I blacked out. When I woke up, the police showed up at the scene. They helped me out the car. I was barely conscious and don't remember much after. Only thing that is still a crystal clear memory is that I saw my dad sitting in the car waving at me with tears in his eyes. When I later asked where my dad was, I was told that he had flown out the car window and landed only a few feet from the car and passed away later in the ambulance. Oh, that's so sad. I was told the man we crashed with died in impact and also had a 17-year-old daughter in the backseat who survived. I still can't believe that this really happened. This was 6 years ago. Edit. I believe the gut feeling he had was that something terrible was about to happen. If someone was going to die, he chose himself instead of me. Therefore, I believed he decided not to put the seatbelt on. I also believed that it was his spirit saying goodbye since he wasn't able to do it. He didn't put a seatbelt on. People in the comments saying, I find it interesting that we have a majority of our immune system in our guts and often following your gut feeling ends up protecting us just like our immune system is supposed to. We also have parts of our nervous system in our gut, so our gut is legitimately in tune with feeling things for us. I mean, no, gut feelings can be right. I think my dad has had a few of those sorts of driving alone at night, then something, his subconscious maybe is telling him to slow down or be careful, and then, you know, he's had like near misses. I'm sure my dad has told me about that kind of stuff when I was younger. Right, now let's read some spooky ones. Probably the last one because my camera's about to die. I died in late 2015. I was given a second chance. I've never used Reddit before, but a friend of mine was talking to me about the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit, so I decided to share my story here, since I don't have an explanation for it almost 3 years later. Oh yeah, I probably should say that also this is the internet and people can just lie on the internet, so, you know, critical thought, apply it here. Rewind back to September 2015. I was a freshman who had just entered high school 2 weeks prior. Already school was weighing down on me and I'd been continuing a habit I had of going on walks to clear my mind. On this day, I'd been walking around a pond in my house. There's a trail that goes around the pond, and then the trail leads up to a set of abandoned train tracks on the other side, which sits about 15 feet above the path and pond below. Do you know what baffles me? How other people can use units of measurement like that properly. Oh, it was about 15 feet tall, he was about 6 foot. I've no fucking idea of anything that's going on. You know how we have the social distancing, 6 foot, 2 meters. How is 2 meters 6 foot? Surely a meter is meant to be bigger than that, but it's not. A meter is about that. Baffles, well, meters. No idea. No idea. I have no concept of depth perception. Baffles me. That's my glitch in the Matrix. How people can be like, it was 15 feet tall. No clue. After walking the circle, I was crossing the train tracks when I decided I wanted some ice cream. The fastest way to get the ice cream shop was to take the path below the train tracks, but there isn't any way to cross the pond without going all the way back around. And being 14 years old, I decided that I could just jump from the tracks onto the path below and keep walking. Looking down from above, it didn't seem to be that far of a jump, so that's what I did. The next thing I remember after that was being half conscious in an ambulance. Everything was extremely blurry and the paramedics sounded slightly panicked. I wasn't able to move either of my legs, so I think they were both broken. This scene continued on for a few minutes until we arrived at the hospital and I was wheeled onto the emergency room on a stretcher. I only had a few minutes in the emerge before I lost all consciousness and that was the last thing I saw. After I'd been unconscious for what felt like an hour, I opened my eyes and was on the ground. I just hit the ground after jumping, but this time I was fully conscious. I hadn't noticed this before I jumped, but there was a car parked watching me. I think they probably thought I was attempting suicide. It probably looked that way. And the people in it had jumped out and called an ambulance for me. The ambulance ride had been the exact same as it was the first time, and I was pulled in the same emergency room that I died in before. The only difference was between the two events were that I was fully conscious this time, and my injuries were much more minor. I was discharged from the hospital that same night with only stitches in my lip, a slightly fractured jaw, and a mild concussion. For a while after this, I assumed that the first scenario had been a weirdly coincidental dream that I had had while I was unconscious, so I didn't consider anything abnormal. It wasn't until a few weeks after when my mum told me that people who had helped me said I had been conscious the entire time. I hadn't been knocked out after hitting the ground or anything. So that entire scenario managed to happen in a few seconds it took for me to hit the ground while I was still conscious. Anyway, I'm not very good at describing things, especially with how blurry this day was now that it was years ago, but I'm 17 now, and I still have no way to explain what happened that day, other than I died and I was given a second chance. Right. These stories where people die, but then they're given a second chance, they come back. You better fucking go on and do some incredible things with your life, because not a lot of people, if it is true, of course, get second chances. So if you get a second chance, then you do nothing but play World of Warcraft for 23 hours a day, but you're not even like and esports. Would that even be esports? You're just a person that sits in your room, you play World of Warcraft 23 hours a day. This is not a slight jab at my best friend. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm not petty. Then you've squandered your second chance. It could have gone to someone who needed that second chance, like Steve Irwin. That still makes me sad to this day, the death of Steve Irwin. If I wasn't a vegan, you stingrays would be in trouble. Right, that's it for this video. I think that's all I have time for before my camera dies. But if you enjoyed it, don't remember to like, comment, subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming out this week, planned for this week. Yes, we can enjoy them together. Let's do this. Follow me on Instagram and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!